my channel. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day full of fantastic things in it as always. And yes, let's address the elephant in the room before we go into today's video. Yes, I did hurt my finger. Now, it's not that bad, actually, but I do have to keep this thing on. In fact, I'm not used to it, so while I'm doing this right now, it just looks weird in the video. So just try to forget about it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just forget. I can't forget about it because it's on me, but you guys forget about it. Forget that it's even there. But for today's video, let's get into it. I decided that it was time for me to do a pros and a cons for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, I do have my opinions on this. I have, spoiler alert, I have more pros than cons, because in my opinion, this is one of the best Call of Duties that we've had in a very, very long time. And maybe it's because I am from the older generation that played a lot of the earlier Call of Duties. And maybe that's why I like it, because it reminds me a lot of them. Now, granted, it's not without its issues. The UI, by the way, if you're going to look for the UI on this list, the cons list, it's not actually on the cons list, because they have said that they're going to fix this. Now, there is one thing on the con list, because I've had personal experience with it, that they have said that they're going to fix. But I put it on there because I have had tons of issues with it. And if you've watched my streams, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, there are more pros than cons, because this is, again, one of the best Call of Duties that we've had in a very long time. I actually did enjoy it, and I still play it, the Black Ops Cold War Zombies, and to me that was it, saving grace, if you will. But Vanguard was its whole entire thing. We're not going to even get into it. I did do a pros and cons, by the way, of Vanguard, saying goodbye to Vanguard. And when we're saying goodbye to this one, which will be in 2 years' time, I will do a pros and cons at that, and we will compare them. Hey, how about we do that? In 2 years' time, I promise you guys, we will compare the pros and cons of each video. But for today, and that's the beauty of YouTube, because I can put that up on here. So anyway, but for today's video, we are going to be doing the pros and cons. So let's just jump right into it. Let's jump into the pros. We always do the pro first, so let's just go. Pros should be popping up right now. But let's get into the pros, and I'm going to try to go quickly through these as much as I can. Again, there are quite a few of them, because again, this is one of the best Call of Duties in my opinion in a long time. But let's go on. Let's start with the first pro. The first pro is the gunsmith. I love the way the gunsmith system works. Now, not everyone does. I get that. I particularly, it does bother me some that, and maybe this is somewhat of a con. It does bother me sometimes. Like, I want to do a certain weapon, but I can't do it until I complete another weapon, get it to level 10, and then it unlocks that weapon. I did a whole video. I'll put that one in the description below as well. I did one on the gunsmithing and how it works and stuff. So I will put that in, and it's confusing, so I'll put that in the description below. But that might be a semi-con, but honestly, it's not something that bothers me. It bothers a lot of people. It does not bother me. I love the fact that I can add any type of attachments that I add to one AR, I can add it to another AR that I earn using that same gun. I absolutely love that. It makes grinding so much easier. I love that. So yeah, the gunsmith is a pro to me. Another pro, and this is probably the biggest pro, is the camo grind. I love camo grinding in this video game. I absolutely love it. It is a blast. I actually am having a good time grinding for camos. I can grind the camo depending on how long I game. I can sometimes do it within a day. And if I don't have time to play as long, I can get it done within 2 or 3 days. I absolutely love that. It's not that hard to grind a gun to get to gold. I absolutely love that. And spoiler alert, a little tidbit for you here. I will be starting to do camo grind videos on here. I stepped away from that with Vanguard because that was a whole mess right there. I talk about that in the video. Again, I'll put that one of the pros and cons of Vanguard down below, saying goodbye to it and the pros and cons of it. But it's very, very interesting. That was very interesting the way the camos worked over there. But the way the camos work over here is fantastic. I love it. Now, some people think the challenge is gone. I get that, and I understand it. However, I'm not complaining about it. I absolutely love it, and I am enjoying actually grinding camos again in Call of Duty. So yeah, the camo grinding is a pro to me. Okay, so that's one pro. Now we got about, I think we're 2 pros in. So anyway, yeah, there's about 7 pros in here, so we got a ways to go. So anyway, that's a pro. Another pro is the maps. Now, there is one map, and you guys probably know the map I'm going to talk about. It's the one that's at the border with all those cars. I don't know what happened to that map. The entrance is fantastic into that map, but the rest of it is, that map's a mess. I have a feeling that they made that map on the Monday. I think they made that map on the Monday because all the other maps are fun. And there are some that you're going to like more than others. Of course, that happens. But the majority of the maps, they work great. They have high spots. They have low spots. They have water. Oh, my goodness. Some of them have water. I love that about that one map with the water where you can go underneath. I love that. I love that option. However, that one with all the cars on it, you should be maybe hopefully seeing a picture right now pop up a bit, or a video or something about it. Yeah, it's not my favorite. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened because the rest of the maps are not like that. That's like old Call of Duty. And Call of Duty, we don't want to go back there, all right? That is like the old Call of Duty, and we do not want to go back there, all right? We like these other maps, all right? we like the way these other maps are built. So please don't give us more of that. Keep with this other one, because I think that one was made on Monday. But the maps, besides that one, the maps are fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic. I think they run very, very well. Of course, again, you're going to have your favorites, which I do, but all in all, they're all very good maps. Anyway, that is a pro. Another pro is it just feels good. This Call of Duty just feels good. Again, for someone who has played a lot of the older Call of Duties, this just feels good. This feels like nostalgia. This just feels good. Now, again, is it without its cons? Not necessarily. I have 4 down here, and one of them's a theory, by the way. We'll get into that in a minute. But I absolutely love the way this feels. It just feels like good old Call of Duty, and I absolutely love the way this feels. So anyway, that is a pro. Another pro is the content. Oh my goodness, we have so much content in this game. Thank you so much, Call of Duty, for that. If you compare, think about it, if you compare Cold War, the past 3 Call of Duties, compare them to this game as far as content goes on the opening month of it. This game has so much content. It's coming out of its ears. There is so much content on this game. There are so many modes. It just makes me excited because coming off of Vanguard, that was one of my cons on there. There was not enough content on that game, and I can see maybe why now, because they were working on this one. Maybe that was it. I don't know, because this one has tons and tons of content, a lot of modes, again, a lot of maps. We get a lot of maps, by the way, in multiplayer. There are tons of maps in multiplayer. There are quite a few of them, and there are a lot of maps in Invasion and things like that, a lot of different ones. It's just a very, very, very good content oriented, I'll get that in a minute, Call of Duty. It's just a lot of content, and I'm very impressed with it. So anyway, that is a pro. Another pro is the third-person mode. Now, not everybody likes the third-person mode. I like it, and I didn't think I was going to like it. But I love it. And I actually liked it in the beta. And they actually came out with a statement after the beta saying that they were going to fix it and they were going to do certain things. Actually, I made a TikTok about that. I'll put my TikTok down below for you guys. And go hit up a follow. I love to see you guys over there. But I was a little scared because they were going to change some things. And I thought, oh no, here we go. It's not going... Maybe they'll change it too much. No, it's actually better. I absolutely love it. And there's actually a part in the camel grinding that I find that third person is really good. If you have to grind to gold, when you're grinding to gold, and in order to get gold, sometimes you have to get maybe 15 times 3 kills without dying 15 times. It is so easy for me personally to jump into third person and bang those out just like that. It is so much fun. I enjoy third person, so that to me is a pro. And to me, out of all the modes, that was the wild card mode, and they've done very well on it. So anyway, that's a pro. Another pro, and this is the last pro, the raids, stories, whatever you want to call them, part of Call of Duty. Now, I have played these. I will say that it is a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more... I can't talk today, y'all. It's a little bit more fun with friends, of course. But look, here's a little tidbit here. I heard someone say this, and so I decided to try it out. And it actually does work. So here's a little tidbit for you. If you are grinding a gun and you just want to get done just like that as far as attachments go for the gun and just leveling it up and maxing it out, period, jump into one of these raids, one of these story modes right here. Jump into one of them. You will get that gun just like that because you earn so much XP when you jump. I can't talk today. Hello, I can't talk when you jump into one of these game modes, because what happens is, I'm going to tell you what happens. What happens is when you jump into it, there will be a wall. Usually there is a wall of guns, and usually it's all the guns in the game. Now, they may not have, I don't think they have every gun, but the majority, 9 times out of 10, the majority of the guns are there, and 9 times out of 10, the gun that you are grinding will be on there. You grab that gun and you just go and kill some bots. You will level up that gun very, very, very quickly. I've done it with ARs. It is a great way to level up your guns, and I would do it before if they changed it. So I don't know if they're going to change that or not, but I really enjoy it, and I really think that's a good option, particularly for those who are not necessarily more the casual player. I think it's just a really good fun thing to add to, again, to the content of, again, we're going back to content. There's just so much content of here. It's a great thing, I think, to add to Modern Warfare 2. But anyway, there are all the pros. Those are all the pros. Now let's go into the cons. Cons should be popping up right here if it works. Cons should be popping up right here. Now, before we go any further, one of these is an obvious one. I said that. One of them is an obvious one, and that has to be fixed. But the rest of these, if they do nothing about them, it's not going to make or break the game for me. It's not going to. Now, before we go any further, one of them is a theory, and I will explain my theory. I've heard a few others think of this as well, so I do have a theory. So I'll share that with you after the cons. But anyway, let's get into the cons. Let's start off. I got my list down here. Let's start off with the skill gap. This isn't a make or break thing for me. By the way, this is, if they don't do anything about this, it's not going to make or break the game for me. But what I mean by skill gap, and just skill period, I feel like, I just feel like they need to add bunny hopping back in there, to be honest with you. I feel like they need to add a few more. I just feel like they need to add to the movement. I feel like that they do, to kind of pick up the speed just a little bit. Maybe it's because I am a rusher. I'm majority of a rusher. And so maybe that's why I'm feeling it more. Now, I don't get me wrong, there is movement here. You have to now jump corners. You have to now pull your gun before you. I always do before I go around any doorway now and things like that. So I am already ready for anybody that comes around the corner and things like that. There is movement here, but I do think that it needs to be running a little bit faster. And so anyway, I do think that there needs to be some sort of skill gap. I just think there does need to be. Do I think that they need to bring slide canceling back? Not necessarily. I don't think that's going to make or break the game if they bring that back. But I do think they need to bring bunny hopping or something back in as far as movement goes. I do. However, again, this does not make or break the game if they don't ever do anything about this. But I do have a theory, and that's part of the theory. Again, I'll share that at the end of the cons. But anyway, that's a con. And the next con is glitches. Let's talk about glitches. Now, this is the one that they have to fix. And if you have watched my streams, which by the way, I do stream on Twitch and I have streamed on here before, and none of the problems when I played on here happened. In fact, the majority of my glitches happen when I'm playing with friends, alright? So, the majority of them happen when I'm playing friends. That's why on my stream on Twitch, people have seen it. But my screen, y'all, it has been black and white. It has been purple and gray. It has been to where I couldn't even see anything. I had black splotches all over. I have had, when I've dropped into maps, and I've had no floor. I've had no ceilings. I've had no walls in the buildings, and it's been all over the place for me. That's something that they need to fix. Now, the majority of these glitches are more with the PC players, I've heard. I don't know. I think that's true. This is my first Call of Duty that I've bought on PC. However, this is something that they do need to fix. And by the way, they have said that they are going to fix this like the UI. Talk, Rachel. You can't talk today. But, yeah, I have heard that they're going to do that. So anyway, that is a con. And that is a con that they must fix. If you don't do the skill gap thing, that's fine. But you need to fix the glitches, alright? So that is a con. Another con is, it's not, again, this isn't something that if they don't ever do anything about it, it's going to make or break the game for me, but attachments. Sometimes I feel like the attachments, yes, I praise the gunsmithing, and I love the way it works and how I can bring those attachments onto another gun. However, I feel like sometimes the guns are just better off without me putting anything on them. I feel like sometimes the attachments punish us way too much. I feel like that. Now, again, I'm nitpicking here. Again, if they don't do anything about this, I'm not mad about it. But I do think that the attachment thing, I do think that's something they need to work on. Because 9 times out of 10, I don't put any attachments on my gun after a while trying attachments on that gun. Because I feel like it just punishes me too much, and I end up playing better without any attachments on. So that's not with every gun, but I feel that way with the majority of the guns on Modern Warfare 2. Maybe that's part of my theory. I don't know. Maybe it is. I'll get into that in a minute again. But anyway, that is a con. And the last con that we're going to talk about, and I put maybe by this because it's not something, again, if they don't do anything about it, it's going to make or break the game, and that's the time to kill. The time to kill, I feel like sometimes it's a little bit all over the place. I feel like it's all over the place. Sometimes I feel like it's too fast, and sometimes I feel like it's too slow. I don't know. It's not very consistent. It's not very consistent the way in which the time to kill runs. Is not very consistent with the way that it does. However, again, I'm not mad about it. They don't ever do anything about it, but it would be nice if they tweaked it a bit. So anyway, that is all of the cons right there. Now let's get into my theory. Let's put a theory right here. We're going to get into my theory right here. And my theory is this. This Call of Duty is supposed to last us for 2 years. And the past 2 Call of Duties have been an absolute mess. Let's just be honest. Particularly the last one. Vanguard was just a mess. It was just a mess. And I feel like now, again, this is a theory. I feel like that they have purposely stripped down this Modern Warfare 2. I think, and this is a theory, and I've heard other people have this theory as well. I feel like they did that on purpose. And because this game is supposed to last us for 2 years, I think they're going to add things slowly back into the game that they think is going to work. Like, for instance, with the movement. Do I think they're going to add slide cancel back? I don't think that they will, but I do think they'll add some movement back in later on, because I think, and with other things as well, with the gunsmithing and with just everything in general, the time kill, all this, I think they have stripped it down on purpose because they want to rebuild the game. And that's the theory right there in the nutshell. I think they have done it for that reason. I think the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that we have from 2 years from now, I think is going to look a little different. Particularly with Warzone 2 coming out, which I will do a pros and cons on that after I give it a fair try as well. But I'm really excited about that. November 16th, everybody, November 16th. But I think they've done this on purpose. I think that they have, and they're going to slowly add some stuff back into the game. I think they're going to do that. Anyway, that's just a theory of mine. Because again, they have really stripped down this game, and I think they've done it on purpose because of particularly the last game just wasn't successful at all, and I think that they're trying to see what works, and you can see that within these, at least I can, when I'm in certain games. There are certain games that have a sweeping radar thing. They have a sweeping thing where you see the red dots, and then there are some games, literally, there has been those where I do drop in and they have that. And then there are games that I drop into that don't have that, and I have to pop a UAV in order to see the red dots. So I don't know if that's happened to anyone else. It has happened to me, which kind of backs up this theory. I feel like, in a way, they are just trying things out, and they are trying to see what works and what doesn't work in Call of Duty. Because again, we're in a new era of Call of Duty, and I think they're trying to see what works and what doesn't work. But anyway, there are my pros and cons, and there's my theory. So I guess this was a threefer for you guys. But anyway, I hope, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this. Maybe you don't like some of the pros that I put on here. Just let me know in the comments if you agree about some of the cons. Let me know that. Let me know some of the things that you do like about the game. Let me know what you think about the theory. Let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe. You do not have to, but I would love for you to. And I will see you in the next video, well, that you see me in. Goodbye. Goodbye.